the dragon princess screamed, as the last gift in her palace burned away in her claws. Not because it was precious, but because it was the only thing anyone had ever dared to offer her. And even that was taken. The snow outside fell quietly over the mountains, soft and innocent, while inside the great black halls of dragons, loneliness was louder than fire. Princess Valera sat on her throne of dark stone, her golden eyes empty, her wings folded tight, not with pride but with pain. The palace around her was endless, echoing, cold. Servants stayed far away. Guards spoke only in whispers. No one looked at her with love, only fear. She was not a princess to them. She was a weapon, a curse dressed in royal scales. Every winter the human kingdoms below filled their castles with music. Children laughed. Families held each other near warm fires. They exchanged gifts. They celebrated life. But in the palace of dragons there were no songs, no candles, no kindness, and never, not once, a present for her. Her father had always said, dragons do not receive, dragons take, dragons rule through terror. And so she learned to take. She took treasure, she took obedience, she took silence. But none of it filled the hollow, aching place inside her chest. Because what she truly wanted was something no hoard could hold. She wanted to be seen. She wanted warmth. She wanted to know what it felt like to matter without fear. She had not always been this way. Once she had been young. Once she had believed stories of peace. Once she had flown over villages and wondered if dragons and humans could ever exist without blood. But that dream ended on the day she was hunted from the sky. She remembered flying low during the war, not to attack, but to look, to understand. Her wings still carried the scar of that mistake. The silver arrow had struck deep, cursed metal forged by human kings. It pierced her bone, burned her blood, and she fell from the heavens like a dying star, crashing into snow so white it looked pure enough to forgive her. She lay there helpless, her blood spreading dark across the winter ground. Humans surrounded her, not with mercy, but with cheers. They raised blades and shouted that a dragon princess would make a glorious trophy. She closed her eyes waiting for the end, hearing laughter instead of compassion. Then a voice had broken through the cruelty. Trembling but clear, Stepay human stepped forward. No sword in his hands, only rags on his back. A worker, nobody. His eyes wide with fear, yet filled with something she did not understand. Pity, she is hurt, he whispered. She is not fighting. The soldiers laughed, calling him foolish, calling her a beast. But the human spoke again, softer, as if saying it to himself. She is alone. Those words stayed inside her like a second wound. The soldiers pushed him aside. Blades lifted, but before they could strike, dragon forces descended in roaring fire. Humans fled screaming, and Valera was carried back to her mountain palace, alive but changed forever. The curse never left her wing. Pain became part of her existence, and the memory of human laughter hardened her heart until kindness felt like a lie. Years passed. Her father died. The throne became hers. Princess became queen. Yet inside she was still that bleeding creature in the snow, still waiting for warmth that never came on. The longest night of winter, she sat alone again. The palace silent, the fire low, her breath slow. No celebration, no gifts, only emptiness, stretching like an endless corridor. Then she heard Ita faint scraping sound, slow, steady, a broom against stone. No servant would be here. None dared approach her chambers at night. She rose, claws clicking, eyes narrowing, and followed the sound through dark halls, lit by dying torches. At the corner of a corridor she saw him, a human, bent over, sweeping ash from the marble floor, wearing simple clothes, a cloth tied at his waist. Not a prisoner, not guarded, simply working as if he belonged. Her breath stopped. Humans did not belong here. He looked up and froze. The broom slipped from his hands. Terror flooded his face. He knew one breath from her could turn him into smoke. Her voice was ice. "How are you here?" He swallowed hard. They hired me. To clean? Dragons do not enjoy cleaning. She stepped closer, towering above him, her injured wing dragging slightly behind. His eyes flicked to it, and softened. You are still hurt. It is none of your concern. She growled. His voice trembled as he answered, I saw you fall once, years ago. In the snow, silence struck the hall. Her eyes widened. You were there. He nodded, fear and emotion shaking through him. I never forgot your eyes. Everyone cheered. But you looked like someone abandoned. Something inside her cracked. She turned away sharply. Leave. But he did not run. He only picked up his broom again, slowly. I am not here to threaten you, he said. I am only cleaning. Why? She demanded. He paused, then answered softly, because lonely places deserve care. The words followed her, even after she walked away. For the first time in years, something warm stirred beneath her scales, something dangerous. Hope days turned into weeks. The human remained. His name was Elier. He cleaned halls no one used, repaired broken furniture no one touched, lit lanterns in corridors where darkness ruled. He never looked at her with worship or hatred, only quiet respect. Valera began to notice him more than she wanted. His small acts of care felt like whispers of another world, one where monsters could be treated as souls. One night, she found him sitting near the palace gates, watching snow fall. What are you doing? She asked. He flinched, then smiled faintly. Watching winter's death. She said, winter is also waiting, he replied. She did not understand, but his voice carried a tenderness that made her chest ache. Do dragons celebrate anything? He asked carefully. No. She answered. Not even you, he said. Her throat tightened. I am not celebrated. Why not? Elia whispered. Because dragons do not receive. Because kindness is weakness. Because I was never wanted. But she said none of it aloud. Only silence answered him. The longest night approached. Humans called it Christmas, a foolish season of gifts and warmth. Valera told herself it meant nothing. Yet deep inside, she felt the old wound of longing reopened. That night the palace felt colder than ever. She sat alone by the dying fire, listening to emptiness. Then she heard a knock at her door. No one knocked. Ever the knock came again, slow, careful. She growled. The door opened, and Elier stepped inside, trembling, holding something wrapped in cloth. Small, humble. What is that? She demanded. He swallowed a gift. The word shattered the air. Her eyes widened, as if struck. Hey, what? I know, it is foolish, he said quickly. I know dragons do not, but I could not stand the thought of you spending another winter believing no one sees you. Her claws trembled. No one gives me gifts, she whispered harshly. That is why I am doing it, Elia replied. Her voice shook. What is the trick? There is no trick, only truth, he said. You are not a monster to me. You are someone who never received kindness. Her breath caught. Humans do not give kindness to dragons. Then let me be the first, he whispered slowly, as if touching hope might burn. She reached out and unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a small, carved figure, made of wood. A dragon curled protectively around a tiny human. Not fierce, not roaring, but sheltering, imperfect, handmade, priceless. Her throat closed. Why? She whispered. Because you deserve to be seen as more than fire. Tears filled her eyes. Dragons did not cry, yet she could not stop it. No one ever thought I deserved anything I did, Elier said. The moment I saw you bleeding in the snow, and everyone cheered, I promised myself, if you survived, you would not be alone forever. Her heart broke open, completely. Then suddenly, a horn sounded outside. Harsh, human. Her head snapped up, instincts screaming. The palace doors exploded inward. Human soldiers stormed in with silver weapons. Banners of kings flying. There she is, the dragon queen. Kill her, and take the human traitor. Tulier turned pale. Traitor. The captain sneered. That janitor was never hired. He was our spy. He led us. Valera stared at Elier. Betrayal, freezing her blood. No, Elier cried. That is not truth. The soldiers advanced. Silver spears ready, the captain raised his weapon. I will enjoy killing you twice, beast.